が消えかかるそれがオレンジャー熱い血流れる鋼のマシン
Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 8 of For Your Eyes Ohranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Chouriki Sentai Ohranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show, we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how are you doing this chilly Sunday evening?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit tuckered out, man. The babies are sick. And so it's been a challenging day, Matt.
That is what I understand about sick babies.
But they're super sweet and they're asleep now, so.
Right on. Well, you know what might be a good way to sort of get those energy levels pumping again, Dave, is watching episode 8 of Chouriki Sentai Ohranger. It is called...
I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Clash. 2 exclamation points. A super giant battle. It's the second exclamation point that really lets you know that we're in for something exciting.
That's, how you know they're really committed to it at this point.
But before we get into that, Dave, as always, our award-winning opening segment, Dave, Shining in the Heavens, there are 5 stars. What? Oh, what is our first star of the week?
Man, I will get to our first star of the week, but I actually want to return to this point. I know we said it as a joke, but the fact that there are 2 exclamation points does sort of sell it, because like 90% of Sentai things, titles that is, do have an exclamation point in the title, and you get a little desensitized to it. But when you see 2...
See, now
then you genuinely... No, like, I know we said it as a joke, but it's actually pretty true now. Like, it is, I am excited.
I'm looking forward to someday eventually getting a 3rd exclamation point, because the 2nd exclamation point actually is something we do also get a lot.
You do, but not
every week. Not every week
is what I'm saying. Okay, so anyways, here's the first star of the week, Matt. I was driving. I was on my way home from a place with Beth and the babies. And we were driving past a strip mall it doesn't matter where, in Cleveland. And we're driving past this strip mall, and on one end of the plaza, there is no sign above the space. And the space is empty, and there are no lights on.
Okay.
And there is a handwritten sign in the window that just says, "We've moved."
Interesting.
That's it. No. It's like who were you, mysterious store, and where are you now?
Where have you moved to?
Where have you moved to? Right, there's not even like a check out our new location on like wherever. It's just like, we've moved.
So there was no information about where they might have moved to or what the point of this move was? Did you say this is a strip mall, right? This isn't just like a house with a sign in the window?
No, it would be amazing if it were just like you just come home and there's a sign, "We've moved." No, this is a place of business, I assume, and it just seems like they're trying to like neg me into shopping there.
Right, like you never went in before, but now that they've moved, you really got to figure out what the deal was.
Right, and like I didn't care about them before, but now that they've just told me that they've moved and not even told me where they moved to, I am strangely motivated to figure out who they were before and where they are now.
Check out that new location, Dave.
It's okay. So maybe this is like some weird guerrilla advertising that's strangely effective. It was just such an odd moment. We've moved. That's all.
Okay.
I just didn't know how to process it.
Well, I think this then is the perfect venue for you to process it, Dave.
Yeah. So what, Matt, is our second star of the week?
Second star of the week, Dave, is it's back. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Because we got this
fun.
The second DLC pack for it dropped this weekend.
I didn't know that there was DLC for that game.
Oh, yeah, dude. There is absolutely DLC for it, and it is very good. Now, here is the problem with the Zelda DLC is...
Just real quickly, I'm not like... DLC is not a thing that Nintendo normally does, right? Like, I'm not crazy about that.
I mean, they have done it... They do DLC, not to the extent that like other publishers do, but in this Zelda game, they actually have done it fairly extensively.
Okay, cool.
And so there's like a whole like extra set of missions to go on here, which is really fun. But here's the problem: is that all of the DLC in the Zelda game, like, and this is the second half of it, all assumes that you have already been playing the game for a while and are like good at doing the things in the game, right? Like you are good at the running and jumping and platforming and fighting and all of that stuff.
Sorry, okay, so Matt, so this is not like Bethesda-style DLC where you would actually be best served to just wait a year after the game so like you can get all of the DLC all at once and then kind of play through the full thing. Like you really need to have beaten it already and then you're good.
Yeah, like the stuff that you do in this second pack of the DLC, you actually can't even access until you have already gotten most of the way through the story of the game.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the problem, though, is that Mario Odyssey came out like a month and a half ago, and I had stopped playing Zelda because I had switched to playing Mario.
Oh, so you got rusty.
And so, like, I went up, like, okay, this is cool. Like, my dude's all leveled up. It's fine. Like, even if I'm a little rusty, like, you know, Link, you know, I got all these good weapons. I got found all those pieces of heart. And, like, everything's going to be cool. My stamina wheel is maxed out. And then I start the DLC, and the first piece of the DLC is, okay, here's a magic weapon. It'll kill anything in one hit. But while you are holding it, if you make a slightest error, anything that touches you will kill you in one hit.
Whoa!
And so I'm just running around trying to remember to play like how this game works, and like every time some jerk skeleton shoots an arrow at me from out of nowhere, like I just die instantly. It is as though I had never played the game before. It's actually worse because when you first start the game, you at least have like 3 hearts. Now you have 1/4 of 1 heart, and you are going up against like big groups of people in like explosive. Like there are just explosions around. There are exploding barrels that you need to avoid. You need to like go into these shrines, and there are just spikes everywhere. Like it's not that hard of a shrine if you had more than 1 hit. But the whole deal is like, yeah, but you don't have more than 1 hit. And if you just get hit,
so do it that way.
And so I've just been sitting here this whole weekend, like trying to play this game, really enjoying it, but desperately wishing I had like gotten back into it a week ago to like warm myself back up, because it is like punishingly difficult. But it's very fun. It's very fun to be back in that game. It's such a good game that I am delighted to have an excuse to go back into it.
Yeah, man, it just seemed like such a good game. I've never heard anybody say anything but like that is astonishingly good.
Yeah, those people are all telling you the truth, Dave.
Okay, well, Matt, what is our third star of the week?
Third star of the week, Dave, is so we're about halfway through December now, and that means A, that I desperately need to finish up my Christmas shopping, but B, it means that a lot of holiday parties are happening.
Oh, yes.
And so we had our big office holiday party over the weekend on Friday night. And so I went to that, and it was very nice. You know, there's door prizes and drinks and dinner and dancing and all that stuff. Here's what I wanted to talk about, Dave. I wanted to talk about the DJ who was at this thing. So,
okay, Matt, just real quickly. I know you're going to tell me some horror story. I'm prepared for that now.
Okay.
What I need to know is who at your office is booking these acts. Because I would assume it's the same guy or girl who did Elvis, right?
Oh, you are referring, of course, to the Elvis impersonator who sang at our Halloween party.
Yeah. Yes, Matt, that Elvis, not the real Elvis.
Well, no, Dave, I know that, and you know that, but maybe somebody missed an episode.
Anyways, okay, so DJ, please.
Okay, so here's the thing. The DJ was not terrible. This is not
Cool.
like a horror story. What it is that this event ran from, I think it started around 6:30 and it ran through about 11:30. The DJ was doing his thing from about 9:30 to 11:30, right? So when you start off, 9:30 after dinner, people have had a couple of cocktails, a couple of
Right,
beers.
things are
So he's
cool.
got sort of like general, sort of like clubby, dancey music. And that's all okay. I mean, that's not my sort of music, but, that's...
I was going to say, for a given value of okay, sure.
That's what the DJ's there for. And there are some people on the dance floor. Around 10:30, we start to notice a change in the music that is playing. And I think...
So we're an hour and a half in.
Well, we're about an hour into, like, the DJ set, right?
Right, yeah. Okay.
And a change starts to happen, and I think what has happened is that DJ Smooth has read the room, and he realizes that we are not club people.
Hold up. Stop. Say that one more time. Say that whole sentence one more time for me, please.
Oh, I mean, I don't remember exactly how I put it, but the change that had happened is that DJ Smooth has...
Yes. No. Please
Yeah.
stop there. Thank you. That is his actual name. This is the title that this man goes under, is DJ Smooth.
Yeah, you got it. Which actually, when I say it out loud, sounds like it is taken. Like that is a name that is actually held by someone who is much more famous than this dude, but I guess it's not that famous because I can't immediately remember who it is. In any case.
So anyways, the music starts to change.
Right, he realizes these are not club people. This is an office party. And everyone in this room is between the ages, like their late 20s. The majority of the people here are between their late 20s and early 40s. And what they really want to hear is like 90s radio hits.
Well, he's right.
And so, like, it goes from current club music to, like, Backstreet Boys and, like, Spice Girls, just, like, the full gamut. And I'm sitting there having a drink, talking to a couple other people, and we say, when Tub Thumping comes on, then we can know for certain that he has fully given in to, like, the 90s top 40 playlist. And we had a nice laugh about that. And then 2 songs later...
Like, oh, haha, this will never happen.
Listen, we were having a laugh about it. We had no doubt that it was going to happen. And then 2 songs later, like clockwork, good old Chumbawamba was there for us. And I'll tell you what, dude. Listen, I know that this sounds absurd. That I'm, like, trying to make fun of this guy for switching from the music he likes to... clearly the music that everyone in that room liked. But I'll tell you what, I like that music, and I was very happy to hear it.
I was going to say, good on you, DJ Smooth, for not committing to what you think this party was going to be and adapting to your audience. First of all, it is DJ Smooth, SMOOV. He is the smoothest DJ in the world, according to his own website.
Sure. Does he have the com or the net?
He is a .com.
Ooh.
And also, DJ Smooth looks like he hits the gym pretty regularly. Good for you, DJ Smooth.
He's got to keep up his cardio if he's going to be going all night.
Going all
on
night.
On those ones and the twos.
Yeah, so good for him. I used to work at a bar, and we had 2 DJs, and they had the opposite problem.
Okay.
Like, they would play, and this was just a bar in, like, a suburb of Cleveland.
This was like a strip mall bar.
Yeah, like it was out in like Middleburg Heights, if you know where Cleveland is. Like if you know your way around Cleveland. And the DJs would come in on Friday night and they would play like club bangers. Like that is what they would play. And people would be like, like, all right, sure. Like there would be like some people dancing. And then they would put on like Tub Thumping or something, and everybody would flip out and be like, yeah, this song is great. And then it'd be like, all right,
we're
back
right,
to Lil Wayne.
That song is great.
It is great. And then it'd be like, all right, back to Lil Wayne. And then everybody like, oh, well, I mean, all right, I guess. Like no capacity to read the room. So that's rad, DJ Smooth. Good for you.
Anyway, good times. Dave, what then is our fourth star of the week?
So our fourth star of the week, man, is actually a different Christmas party. One that you and I were at last night. And it is our friend Ryan and Karen's. It is their annual Christmas party. They've been doing it for like forever, like 15 years or something.
This is a very long-running party.
It's a long-standing party at this point. And there's a theme every year, and this year's theme was video games. And it was a blast. Like, we just saw a bunch of our good friends. So let me tell you this. Ryan and Karen know how to throw a party. Like, they are much better. They are better at throwing parties than I am. Because when you show up to a Ryan and Karen party, like, there are activities. Like, it is a planned thing, which I think adults have a concept that you can just, like, show up to a party and there'll be, like, food and alcohol, and then the party will just sort of happen.
Right. The party will just be like, oh, we are all in this room and there are food and drink and we enjoy each other's company, so that's the party.
Right. That's not true. And Ryan and Karen understand that. And so they plan activities. There was like a video game tournament, which I actually left before it was resolved. Who won that?
Oh, Bill won.
Okay. Congratulations, Bill.
Friend of the show, former guest Bill.
Yeah. And actually, so it was all like old school games. We were playing Super Mario Brothers. And Matt, speaking of not being as sharp as you used to be, those games are hard.
Dude, those games are so hard. And it's not just that they're hard, it's that we were not playing these on an NES class, like the new emulator system, the NES Classic. We were just playing it on our classic Nintendo Entertainment Systems.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was trying to play, the first round of this tournament was like, get on Super Mario Brothers, the first one, and get to finish World 1-3, right?
Yeah.
So you and I are racing against each other, and I get about halfway through World 1-2, and all of a sudden the game glitches out. I fall through some blocks into a pit, and then the screen just goes black forever.
Then you had to, I died. I game overed because I just slipped, and this is not me. I'm not making this up. Everybody saw it because it seemed so crazy. I just like jumped on a platform, and then I like shadow catted through that platform. Like that platform was not there for me. Yeah. And then I died, and I had to start over.
And so while you were starting over, I had to go a little more extreme, where I had to like reset the system because it wasn't just the game that had messed up. Like I had to like turn the thing off, take the cartridge out, blow in the whole thing, like, go from scratch to get this thing going again. Hit reset at like a weird pattern to try to like trick the game into starting again.
And I gotta say, Matt, I think you man-moded it because Ryan was gonna stop the clock, and you said, no, this is just like, this is what it is. This is playing Nintendo games, just roll.
That's part of it. If you're playing Nintendo, that's the whole thing.
And so, and I just forgot like how laggy those controls are. Like they're not good. No. We were playing, you and I both, we were trying to play Super Mario Kart, and like I'm pretty good at Mario Kart. Like I'm not as good at you as you are. You're very, very good at Super Mario Kart.
Well, no, I'm very good at the later Mario Karts. As it turns out, Super Mario Kart is kind of unplayable for me.
Yeah. I was, except there was like one dude there who was crushing it. But I hopped in. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna me and Matt will play. So we'll be we'll be shooting for first and second as we romper stomper this computer. And we got 7th and 8th almost every race. We got destroyed.
Yeah, it was humbling.
Yeah. So anyways, it was a great party. Thanks to Ryan and Karen for hosting, and it was great to see it. There was a costume contest. And our buddy CW won that, and he just had a blue tracksuit, and he had dyed his hair and his beard blue, and every time he bumped into someone, he just threw some cheap plastic rings up into the air. So that was pretty amazing.
Very nice. Oh, he also had some red chucks on.
Oh, that's right. We had there was a white mage and a black mage, which is very cool. We had Bill was Ness from Earthbound. Is that the name of that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a ton of great costumes.
A lot of good costumes.
Yeah, it was super cool. So, that was our 4th star of the week, man. Guys, throw a Christmas party or a holiday party. And just throw a party. How about that? Throw a party for your friends.
And when
pick
you do
a theme.
it, don't just buy some beer and invite them over. Anyway.
Yeah. Throw a party. Plan some activities. Invite a bunch of friends over. It's going to be great because you're great people.
Now, Dave, what is our fifth and final star of the week?
Okay, so our fifth and final star of the week, Matt, is actually just about great people. That was a pretty good lead-in. I didn't plan that. It just happened. That's what we call serendipity, Matt. Anyways, so I was actually not planning on being able to go to this party because I have twin babies. And last night, like an hour beforehand or something, Beth said, my wife Beth, whom I love and who loves me, said, you know what? Like, I will stay home with the babies. Like, let me just kind of, like, just help me start to get them into bed, and you go to the party. Oh. And it, like, there's no joke. Sorry. Like, jokes is stepping out. There's no jokes for this star, guys. This is just me talking about how great my wife is. Like, Ron Burgundy style, like, I don't have a mountain, so I'm telling you on my podcast how great my wife is. Man, like, okay, so, like, I love the babies. They're amazing.
Sure.
They're just a lot.
Yeah,
they're just,
there's
you
two
know
of
what I
them.
mean? And it's because there's two of them. If there were only one of them, you'd be like, oh, yeah, like, go hang out. Like, I'll hang out with this baby and put it to bed. It'll be fine. It's just that there's two of them. And so, and then also, like, during the school year, because I do theater, my life is just super busy all the time. And so, like, by the time all of that stuff is done, I just kind of don't get a chance to get out a whole lot, especially as much as I used to. And I'm a very extroverted guy. And so that's like important for me. And I just haven't been able to. And Beth was like, you know what? You haven't been able to get out in a while. I feel that you are feeling kind of like cooped up. You just go to this party and I will stay home. And I know because she also wanted to go, obviously, because it's a bunch of our friends. So I thanked her profusely in person, but I am just telling everybody who listens to this podcast that my wife is pretty great, and I really appreciated the thing that she did for me. All right. Let's go watch Chouriki Sentai Ohranger.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. We are going to watch episode 8, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. So we have just finished watching a very exciting episode where kind of a lot happens, but none of it is really of any consequence.
Yeah, no. Well, this is, I feel like, our first, in many ways, our first sort of like proper Freak of the Week episode. Like the first 7 episodes have been like real crazy. We've been getting a ton of exposition. Everything's getting set up. I think we actually set this might be a record for how quickly into a series we've gotten giant robots. I feel like
it is at least, I think it is particularly quick, not just for getting the individual robots, but for actually putting them together into a giant guy who stands up and hits something with a sword.
Yeah, normally I expect to see that around like maybe like episode like 12, somewhere in that range. And we're only at episode 8, and this is actually the second episode we've gotten with Chouriki Robo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So here's a quick correction from the previous episode. We were calling him Chouriki Robo because the name of that episode was Combined Chouriki Robo. But all throughout this episode, they refer to him as Ohranger Robo. So I think that's actually what his name is.
Yeah. So, but like I think this is the first just real Freak of the Week. Like there's a monster, it shows up, it fights, they fight it. There's a robot, and they kill it, and then hooray! Like our heroes have won. Yeah,
but in a very real way. More than maybe any other episode that we have watched in the 3+ seasons, this episode feels like a toy commercial.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like this is a 20-minute toy commercial where they fight a guy with missile hands, and it's great. It's really fun.
It is, and they're not normally. I mean, you guys have probably picked this up. They're not normally super subtle.
No, but this one, like. Because that's kind of the only plot of this episode is showing off the giant robot and how many cool functions it has. Okay, so let's get into it. So we start off, there's already a red alert. They're in all of our heroes are in the headquarters, but there are like those giant like flying saucer cog battleships and a bunch of the octopus fighter jets flying over Tokyo, blasting it to pieces. So the Ohrangers all henshin and go to their Chouriki mobile suits to head into the city to protect it.
Yeah,
there's a great shot where
they
all
hench
get,
it
like,
immediately.
yeah, like they get in their little chairs, they get lowered into the cockpits of their Chouriki mobile suits, which is a shot that I love.
Yeah, I love that one.
And they are like out to go fight.
Right.
Cut back to Tokyo. You know, there's fighters overhead, things are exploding, but then Kocha and Acha look out the window and see, like, oh crap, we were having so much fun blowing up Tokyo, now the Ohrangers are here.
Yeah. Like, oh, what do we do? And the answer, it turns out, actually is not much.
Yeah, so Ohranger, they all pull out their storage crystals and they turn their Chouriki mobile suits into the big robots, or the big, Ohranger Robo. And there's a moment where I think, like, oh, okay, now they're just going to destroy everything. That's not immediately what happens, because first they need to get shot approximately 1 million times. They
get shot. Yeah, they get shot a lot. Now there was something that I got kind of a kick out of, is that they so we know it's the storage crystal. The storage crystal is the thing that, like, activates Ohranger Robo. And so far they have done it every time. And it's not a quick sequence.
No.
Like, we see each individual Ohranger go like, storage crystal, and then they plug it in. And then the next one is storage crystal, and then they plug it in.
And the thing is that they're all saying the exact same thing, and they're doing it in the exact same way. So it's not as though it is an interesting sequence with all of them, like, leveling up their mobile robots in, like, a fun, unique way. We're just watching, like, 5 color-coded people doing the exact same motion.
It's not the best sequence. So, but they do that, and they form Ohranger Robo, and they just wreck shop.
Yeah, like, they get shot for a while, because Bacchus Wrath is like, listen, concentrate all your fire on that dude. But as soon as they get tired of being shot at, they literally just pull out their sword and throw it at one of the battleships, and the battleship just goes down.
The only thing, I had, like, a minor bum out about that, because what they do is they, like, flip it around and grab it by its handle and then throw it as though it's a very awkward spear. Where really what they should have just done is, like, thrown it end over end, and it would have, like, rotated and sliced. Would have been cooler.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's like a tiny hidden jet rocket in the hilt of it, so they were just sort of, like, setting it up and throwing it that way, so it'll keep.
I would also accept that as very cool. So yeah, they just take out this battleship with, like, a single shot.
And it's not. I want to be clear. This is not their finishing move. This just happens to be, like, throwing their sword near a battleship,
and that's it. So I dig that. Okay, the thing that I really do like about this is that it does give us, like, a pretty clear picture of the power level of Ohranger Robo. Like, this robot is not messing around.
Yeah.
So the forces of Baranoi are like, okay, well, we're out then. Like, we will live to fight another day. And then they
Bacchus Wrath is very mad and he does not want to retreat, but Kocha and Acha just, like, grab the controls and point the ship back towards the moon.
Yeah.
So they get to the moon, and Queen Hysteria and the terrible Prince Bulldont are talking about, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys retreated. In all of our, like, conquests, we have never had to retreat from, like, the field of battle.
Literally anybody. This has never happened before.
Like, we kind of don't know how to process it.
Right.
What are we going to do? We can't just leave Earth because there are these 5 jerks.
Right.
Like, what would that look like?
And so Bacchus Wrath is like, you idiots, I already have a plan. And I can't remember, what's the name of the planet, Matt?
Okay, so he has forces hidden away on the planet Duora, I think.
Thank you, Duora. And he says, he's like, I'm going to call in these forces that I have hidden away on the planet Duora. And we see Empress Hysteria and Prince Bulldog be like, wait, what? You're calling in who now?
And it cuts away to this planet Duora, and there's, like, a big red screen behind which you see a bunch of, like, evil-looking robotic silhouettes. And he's like, oh yeah, we are calling those guys. And I love this because it makes the Machine Empire feel bigger. That like
Yeah,
it's not
like-
just these 5 dudes and
Exactly.
their like stupid like octopus planes.
Right. Now, one of the things I do dig about this is kind of like shades of the Shootin' Doji Brothers. There are some like, yes, we're insane like empire building like murder bots, but there's still standards of behavior.
Right. Like we do have prisons.
And so they're like, yeah, like this is the Suicide Squad of the Baranoia Empire that they are like hurling into battle against the Ohrangers, which I really dig.
And in this week, the person that they have pulled from this planet is Bara Missler.
Yeah, and so Bara Missler, he looks like a transformer, basically. He's like a robot or a plane transformer, except he also just has 2 planes, not missiles, just planes on his shoulders.
Oh, sure. I mean, in case you forgot what his whole shtick was.
Like epaulets, just like they're waiting for takeoff, just ready to go, just planes.
Yeah, he
so
looks
anyways,
like halfway between a transformer and one of the Centurions. You know, Man and Machine, Power Extreme.
Yeah, Power Extreme. Mm-hmm. Have you ever actually gone back and watched an episode of that show, Matt?
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad. It's very, very bad. But the opening looks so cool.
Dude, that is how those shows got you. The opening
really is. The opening animation is super rad, and then everything else is garbage. Okay, so anyways.
So we come back down to Earth, and Momo and Juri are just out for a drive, and in civilian clothing.
Yeah, they're just chilling. They're actually out. They're out on like a shopping trip, I think, is where they're going.
Yeah, and I think the idea, what they say is, now that we have Ohranger Robo, the Baranoia Empire has to like really think twice before they attack.
Right,
And
like we
so
bought
we'll be
ourselves some
fine.
breathing room.
Like Juri can put on like a jean jacket and like a neck scarf thing. It's a very cool look.
Everybody's chill.
Yeah,
We're cool
Momo's
now.
got like a little like checked sundress deal happening.
Yeah,
Everything's cool.
right. And then there's an explosion, and they are attacked by the slowest missile.
Oh my gosh. You could grab this missile out of the air and turn it around and like just send it back where it is going with your bare hands.
And it's not just one. Like every time we see a missile on screen, it's the slowest missile. I think they just had a dude with like a fishing rod, like running as fast as he could past the camera, like behind it.
Like he's running as fast as he can, but it's not the fastest guy on set.
Right. Yeah. So there's explosions everywhere. And
Buildings are falling into rubble. There's fire. Like there is a lot of destruction from these terrible slow missiles.
And so the Rangers, like, they jump out of the car and they're like running over and they're trying to help people and like, just like pulling people out of the rubble, as best they can.
Yeah. Juri then calls up to the headquarters and is like, "Hey, we need help."
Right.
Now we cut from here, not to the headquarters, but to the moon, where the Baranoia Empire.
He's getting weird.
Yeah, because the camera cuts not to like the standard shot of just the room, but looking up at a bunch of Bara soldiers, like the putties, who are all dressed as surgeons with like surgical masks and gowns.
Yeah, and what they have done is they've got like a surgical table set up, and they have pulled the little one. That's Kocha, right?
Yes, the little one is Kocha.
And they've got Kocha, and they are starting to like basically disassemble him, and he is flipping out.
Yeah, he is not into this. They are telling him, like, okay, we are going to add some functions to you. We're going to improve your mobility. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to install a enlargement system.
Yeah.
And Kocha is like, cool, but I do not want any of this.
Right.
And
And,
they
like,
kind of evil shame him.
Yeah. First of all, they evil shame him, and then second of all, like, it is uncomfortable because he's like, it's a puppet, but he's very definitely struggling to have this not happen to him.
Oh yeah, but they're like,
But
what sort of paranoia doesn't want to have like super evil robot powers? Like, what sort of jerk are you? We're offering you the world here, buddy.
Right. And so it's Acha actually who is saying this. And then Emperor Bacchus Red is like, glad you feel that way, Acha, because like you're in on this too. And then Acha's like, wait, what now? And you can tell that maybe his mouth is a little bit bigger than his heart because he's also not interested. But then, like, I forget, Bacchus Wrath says something, but which is like, no, like, this is going to be awesome. How do you actually feel? And they're like, oh, well, actually, I'm not actually. This is
fine.
Like, I'm actually fine. It's like they forgot that they were robots.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on in this scene that makes me think, like, why are they doing it this way if they are robots? Like, why would they even own those doctor's outfits? It's not like those robots need to avoid, like, breathing in or out germs. They don't have breath. They are robots.
I don't know, Matt. Maybe they're worried about oil spots on themselves. I don't know.
Sure, man. Oil spots. I could dig it.
Okay, anyways. So we don't know.
The terrible principal don't runs in and says, hey, our plan is working. The Ohrangers are running out to go face Baron Missler.
Yeah, well, and it's not super like they just do that. They're like, we're gonna go find the guy, and then they just go find him. He's at a quarry.
Yeah, there was a bit I think that we missed talking about earlier where they were trying to figure out how many battleships were attacking that was causing all this destruction, and eventually they realized, like, oh no, this is not like a battleship at all. This is just like one angry like machine beast.
Oh yeah. They're like, wow, this guy must not be messing around.
So they go and find him. He is, of course, at the quarry. But it's not just him. Bacchus Wrath is also there, which is the first time that the Ohrangers are meeting Bacchus Wrath.
Yeah.
Which feels weird that that's not happened yet.
I don't know. I mean, like, if we think back to Jetman, they were not encountering the Virome commanders, like, super early on, were they?
I think they were, dude.
Well, maybe so. Anyway, so this is the first time they meet Bacchus Wrath, and he's like, I am Bacchus Wrath, and I will take care of your planet. And they're like, no,
thank you.
No, thank you, please.
That is not how we do things.
Yeah. So then they just start fighting. Like,
yeah, they pull out their lasers. The lasers are no good, because those are the lasers that you use to shoot a bear soldier, and this is a machine beast, and he's got whole other, like, shields, I guess? I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
The lasers
He's got, like,
are
extra
useless.
armor points, whatever.
But what is not useless is the Star Riser. Goro pulls out his sword. He gives the dude, like, a one good hit with the sword, and he just goes down. Like, for such a fearsome dude, getting hit literally one time with a sword is all it takes.
Well, I mean, dude, Star Riser literally, like, cut a whole plane in half last time, so...
Well, that's true. Man, Star Riser is very good.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So, like, it goes down. Baron Missler goes down.
The Ohrangers start cheering.
They're like, they're like, wow, that was way easier than we were sort of expecting. Right on.
But it was not that easy. In fact, I think Acha and Kocha, who are right there, are like, no, it is too soon for you to be enjoying yourselves, because we just got these new powers, and you are going to love what this looks like. And then they go into a very bizarre sequence.
Okay, so here is what happens. Kocha goes through, like, a little transformation phase where his arms, like, pop into his body, and then
sort of like a long cable comes out of his butt, or like where his butt would be.
Yeah.
And there's a handle on the end of that cable. Acha grabs that handle. It just starts swinging Kocha around like he is a morning star.
Yeah, it's like a hammer throw. That's the...
Yeah.
And he just, like, he launches it at Baron Missler.
Yeah. Kocha sort of lands on Baron Missler's shoulder. Like a robot syringe full of like glowing green stuff plugs from Kocha into Baron Missler's neck, into like a port on his neck. And he says, grow up big and strong, and then he becomes a giant robot. And Dave, if this is what we get to see every single episode when these dudes grow, I am going to be so delighted.
Well, okay, miss it. Listen, Matt, they have said, like, this is where the enlargement system is coming from. So I think, yeah.
It's just such a bonkers thing. Like, okay, listen. In every show, they have to come up with some excuse as to why these people get big. Either there's a magic wand, or they have gotten, like, freeze-dried, compressed into a tiny dude, and then when they get defeated in their regular size thing, they become a giant dude. That's a weird one from Time Ranger. But this isn't... It's just so wonderfully, weirdly elaborate.
Yeah, it
involves two side characters.
No, it's pretty
getting,
amazing.
Like,
I'm a big fan.
So what I'm hoping then is that in every single fight, Aja and Kocha just have to be like hiding behind a bush somewhere or like inside a garbage can, and as soon as they need to, like pop out, like, aha, we gotcha, giant dude now. Because what's the other option? Is that Kocha throws Acha into the fight from the moon? I mean, I would also love that, but I don't see it happening.
I would not complain about that happening either. But that is, oh man, okay, so that is definitely what happens. So the Rangers then are like, oh, well, we clearly need we need to call our giant robots in. So they do. Like, they can summon them on their Do we have a name for those, like, wrist communicator things yet?
I don't know, actually. That is a very good question.
Yeah, see? We're like, it's a little bit weird that we don't have one of those yet anymore. But anyways, so they, like, do a thing on it, and the beasts come to life.
Chouriki mobiles.
The Chouriki mobiles, thank you. So the Chouriki mobiles come to life. Matt, can I have, like, just a minor complaint?
Sure.
Well, okay, so here's what happens. Is the, like, Sky Phoenix is like, Sky Phoenix, and it flies away. And they're like, Grand Taurus, ready. And then Dash Leon, ready. And then it, like, Moa Loader and Dogu Lander are like, ready. And it's just like, well, I'm not sure what you need to... You're just literally getting pulled.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe that means that they finished loading all of their cannons, but they certainly haven't, like, engaged an engine or anything.
Yeah. I did just think about this. Is that it's Juri and Momo are Moa Lander and Moa Loader and Dogu Lander.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that are like getting pulled around. And I was like, man, you got to make both ladies the ones that like can't get around on their own. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think there is something that will happen later in this episode that will make me feel less bad about that.
Yes, but
I totally hear you. Like, I know they were the gunners in the planes that they both shared with Shohei and Yuji, but still, like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Okay,
you couldn't make them able to move on their own even a little bit.
Yeah, it's, yeah. So anyways, they all, they kind of, roll out of their mountain hideout thing. So we get a quick shot of that, rolling through the snow, which I love. And then they are just there they're there at the battle. And, we get they do not bother being, individual robots for any length of time. As soon as the Chouriki mobile show up, they combine.
Yeah, and we've only seen it once before, but I want to reiterate that I do really like a couple of aspects of this transformation sequence, particularly when Goro is coming in to perch the Sky Phoenix into the sort of torso head spot that he has.
Yes.
You see inside the cockpit of Sky Phoenix, he's like, okay, angle of approach is good. So it's not just an automated system. He is piloting it into position every time. And I really dig that.
I do. I think that is really, really cool. Now, and I will say that also they do shorten up the storage crystal sequence. We get Goro and he says storage crystal, and then we get a split screen shot of everybody doing storage crystal all at once, which I think is a much better way to do that.
Yeah. So they all combine, and Bacchus Wrath is like, all right. Now it is on. You have fallen into my trap. And the trap is just that, like, Bara Mistler is super strong. Like, he's a very strong robot, and they were not anticipating that. So, like, they try to hit him, and it doesn't do much good, and then they get shot with 1,000,000 missiles and get knocked over, and they're like, oh, wow. Like, we did not plan for this.
Yeah,
So it's not a genius trap, but it does work.
And then... So then Bara Mistler manages to... He picks up Ohranger Robo, sorry. And flies to the sun.
Yeah, so Bacchus Rats is like, listen, we're wrapping you up in chains. You're not going to get out of these chains. Don't even try. They're very good chains. Then, my dude here, the Mistler, he's just going to throw you into the sun because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of your look. I'm sick of your face. I'm sick of everything that you're doing. So it's sun time for you. Now, I'm wondering, like, how are they going to do this? Is Bara Mistler strong enough to throw them that far? No. He's just going to fly them there. And would you like to know how quickly he flies?
Well, he gets to the sun in, like, under 30 seconds.
I was going to say, that's 93 million miles away. He gets there in under a minute. It's a pretty good speed.
He's very, very fast. So he just,
I think that if he was that fast, he could have been better at avoiding the attacks that were being thrown at him.
Listen, man, he's very fast, like in a straight line in the vacuum of space. Let's bend this a little bit. That's how we... Anyways.
Okay.
So he just basically, like, flies at the sun very, very, very quickly and just hurls them at it and then kind of, like, loops back around himself and heads back to Earth. So the Rangers are just headed towards the sun, and they're like, what are we going to do?
It's getting very hot.
It's getting so hot. This is such a bad situation. And they're like,
and eventually
okay.
Someone turns to Shohei, and they're like, oh, Shohei, well, why don't you use, like, the Taurus cutter or whatever? Like, that'll help break these chains, and we can get free. And then I say, sitting on my couch, what?
Yeah, they have not... Okay, so here's what it turns out, guys. There's Ohranger Robo, and then Ohranger... Like, this is very cool, actually, but each of the 5 Chouriki mobiles can give Ohranger Robo, like, a different helmet? Yeah. Which gives it, like, a different superpower.
Have different powers.
Yeah.
So like the standard one that we have seen thus far is the wing head, and that is the Sky Phoenix head that gets put on it, and that's the one that has, like, the sword, right?
Yeah.
But when they switch over to the Taurus head, I'm actually not sure exactly what the Taurus head does, but whatever it does, it lets him break the chains.
It's, it would make sense that it maybe gives it, like, some sort of, like, super strength or something like that. We're not totally sure yet. So they managed to break the chains, but they're like, we're moving too fast, and, like, the gravity is too strong, and we can't get away. And they're like, okay, we'll use... What are they called again? Like, the names are super funky, Matt.
I don't know. It's Jury's head. It's something Vulcan cannons, and they're like these 2 cannon things that are sticking out of the top of the helmet, or it's from the side, sort of where the ears are.
Yeah,
that they can be, like, moved back and forth, which I think are probably meant to just be cannons, but in this case are working as, like, thrusters.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just called Cannon Head. So they use Cannon Head, and they sort of push themselves away from the sun, and then they use Vulcan Head, which is from Doggerlander, and they basically just, like, everybody uses their, like, little blasty power, and somehow that saves them.
And not only does it save them, but it gets them all the way back to Earth in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Now, I will say I think Graviton Head, which is from Dash Leon, is the coolest one because it's like a crazy pyramid head, but it like matches because Dash Leon is also like the arms, and so that like there's some visual continuity there, and it does like a crazy pyramid blast. It looks rad. Vulcan Head and Cannon Head both look kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of great because the Moa Loader is just like a turret with a giant cannon on the top of its head. And so when Ohranger Robo gets the power of Moa Loader, it just gets a giant cannon on the top of its head. Like, it's not flashy, but it is very good.
It is, like, right. Like, that's definitely Moa Loader's thing. So they land back on the planet, like they get back to Earth, so they can also just cover that. And like, to be really clear, at first I was like, well, maybe they've just been flying for a very long time. But as they were being thrown into the sun, we did flash back to Earth, and we saw Emperor Bacchus Wrath literally turning around from his exact same spot and be like, well, that's taken care of. Back to the moon. So we know that this happens very quickly. So they get back to Earth, and then they kill Bara Missler.
Yeah, I mean, we could tell you about what happens here. Like, they switch their heads out a bunch of times. Here's what my notes look like. Head change. Ohranger Robo is invincible. Oh, yeah. At one point when they're flying back, they're landing, Bacchus Wrath is like, how could this possibly happen? We threw you at the sun. And Goro just shouts like, no, Ohranger Robo is invincible. And then they land and they change their heads a bunch of time, and then they murder this stupid missile boy.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things I do dig is that when your head is on Ohranger Mobile, you get the front seat. That's their seats shift around, which is pretty great.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, Juri and Momo both have like the heavy cannon turret, like non-mobile, like individual dudes.
Yes.
But like all of them, when they have combined, are really like equal within the Ohranger Robo. And I think that's very cool.
Yeah, that is super, super cool. I do dig that.
So yeah, like they land, they kill the dude, they all get out of the robot, they're thrilled to be alive, they're enjoying the day, and like literally just walking around and smelling flowers and looking at birds. Happy to be back on like the good old planet Earth.
Yep.
And that is it. Like, this is a fun episode, and it really shows you what Ohranger Robo can do. And it has a couple of fun scenes, but like, it is genuinely just like, look at all of these bits and toys that you can buy, and you can change out its head, and you can pretend that it has a cannon or two cannons. It's very good, and you should go to the store immediately. That is this episode. Like, I kind of wish there was more to talk about, but like, they're genuinely, unless you got some sort of weird insight out of this that I didn't.
No, not really. Like, I wish I had something else, but it really is like it was a big toy commercial, but I did love it, and I kind of do want that toy.
Well, I mean, listen, it was at least effective.
Right. So, Matt, that's it for that episode, but it's not it for our episode.
That is right, Dave, because right now we need to determine where this monster would land in the Creature Royale. Okay.
Well, Matt, I'm gonna say I think looking at the Shootin' Doji Brothers is a good spot to start. Like at least thematically in the context of the story, they're pretty similar. And the Shootin' Doji Brothers come in at spot number 48. Now, I think that's a good spot to start. I do think Bara Missler is going to be like pretty dramatically below that.
Yeah, because even though they both have that sort of commonality of getting, like they are dudes who were like locked away in exile or in prison and brought back because they need someone who is like a very bad dude to fight the heroes. The Shootin' Doji Brothers, like, I don't know, they had a whole thing. They were in, like, their prison cell was a lot cooler than just being on a planet. There was a lot of specifics as to, like, what they had done. Like, the Shootin' Doji Brothers are characters in a way that Bara Missler is not.
Yes, and also they are brothers. They've got, like, combo moves. They're, like, jumping over each other and doing some neat stuff. Matt, let me take that back. Actually, I'm looking like right below them, and I'm seeing a lot of monsters that I think are a lot cooler than Bara Mistler.
Yeah, I mean, Bara Mistler has a pretty cool look, and he can fly to the sun in about 30 seconds, and that's a good move.
You know, man, I just keep scrolling down this list, and everybody I'm looking at, I like better than Bara Mistler. There's Sunekake Baba, the sand witch, that had like weird boob magic. There's Bakaneko, the cat lady. There's snake armor, which is like a literal suit of living snake armor that took people over. Four Kings of Heaven, Duke Trump, Purse Monk with the sweetest dunks, Diamond Dimension.
Diamond Dimension's it. Okay, here's a question, Dave. Is Bara Mistler the worst machine beast yet?
No.
I don't think that the answer is yes.
No, he's better than Bara Drill.
Better than Bara Drill, better than Bara Saucer, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So where is Bara Saucer? Let's
so
move
Bara
up
Saucer
from
is
there.
103. So let's go up from there. Do we like Bara Saucer better than Vending Machine Dimension? Yes. Adhesive Cockroach? Yes. Funeral Figurine Ventriloquist? Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Let me just jump up a couple. Baron String? Yes. Now we're getting a little bit... Okay, Matt, is he better than Character Find of 2016 Energy Butt?
Might be better than Energy Butt, but I don't think he's better than Azukirai, the Bean Washer, who was the fake policeman in those early episodes of Kakuranger.
Oh, yeah, that guy was great. Well, I think that works for me, man. So that puts Bara Mistler in at the new spot, number 92.
Right on. Well, Dave, then that is going to do it for another episode of For Your Eyes, Ohranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. If you want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things that we're talking about on the show, we're on Twitter at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember, shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find the show. That's what's going to help new people find it. Or just tell a person, like in real life. Like if you're having a conversation with a guy, or, just whoever, maybe a coworker, maybe someone in line at the subway, either the underground train or the sandwich shop. You got options. No matter where you are.
Any place, really.
Just let somebody know. Anyway, the Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. To find any of the other great Retrograde Orbit Radio shows, you can do it all at retrogradeorbitradio.com. Once again, we are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you next week for the greatest show on Earth.